We start in the Middle East, and Iran has issued a sharp warning to the United States today, saying any military strike would trigger an immediate and forceful response. The Foreign Minister, Abbas Araghchi, has said Iran's forces have their fingers on the trigger after President Trump warned that time is running out to avoid confrontation and said a large US naval force is moving closer to the country. Despite the threats, Araghchi said Tehran remains open to a new nuclear deal, insisting Iran seeks peaceful nuclear technology and not nuclear weapons. Hardline voices in Tehran warned that any attack would mean war, including strikes on Israel. Meanwhile, European pressure is growing. Germany says Iran's leadership lacks legitimacy, and France backed new EU sanctions and a possible terror designation for Iran's Revolutionary Guards. Joining us now is Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev, a former Indian diplomat, joining us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much for joining us, Ambassador. Trump here says time is running out, echoing the maximum pressure of the previous few weeks. Does this suggest that this contradiction that also is strategic, or is this escalation to gain leverage for diplomatic negotiations?
Thank you for having me, and I'm delighted to be with you once again. You've asked a very important question, and I think many people would like that to be answered one way or the other. It's only future that is going to tell that, but to my mind, both sides are saber-rattling and engaging in pyrotechnics to show to their own respective domestic audience that they're not buckling down. They insist on their hardline stance. To quote Axios periodical on internet, which has close links with the United States, U.S. has asked for 4 conditions to be fulfilled. Firstly, the nuclear program, enrichment program of Iran has to be totally abandoned, and the enriched uranium has to be handed over. Then the proxies have to be reined in, and the missile program also has to avoid the long-range missile systems. Now, Iran relies for its defense on all these 4 criteria. It has seen that while Saddam Hussein was mauled by United States in aggression repeatedly, North Korea was left standing because it had nuclear powers. Then again, the missiles have been its weapon of choice, because its Air Force and air defense systems have been denuded over the sanctions and rest of it. So, and the proxies have, according to it, have safeguarded Iran to a great extent by taking the war to its enemies in various parts of the region, Israel specifically. So it is reluctant to abandon those 4 tenets, and for the same reason, United States want them to be fulfilled, and Iran to be neutered, so as to avoid any threat to Pax Americana in the Middle East region. So both sides are sticking to their guns. President Trump faces a tough midterm election in November, and has often criticized his predecessors for dragging in the wars, long, unending wars in the Middle East. he has no intention to get dragged into a longish conflict with Iran.
Yes.
And Iranians have said that they intend to prolong the conflict in case it's brought to bear upon them. Thank you.
And Ambassador, of course, the relevant targets have been stated by Iran. If they are indeed attacked, they've said that they're going to target US bases in the Middle East, those in Qatar, among others. And also, Israel will be a legitimate target for Iran if the United States does indeed strike. How close is this standoff to becoming a multi-front regional war?
Many of the regional countries hate being sucked into this vortex. UAE and Saudi Arabia both have announced in the recent times, during the last 1 week, that they would not allow their territories, maritime areas, to be used for aggressing against Iran. This is because they perceive that Iran would attack them if they do that, if they allow United States access to their boundaries. What you have said is correct, but Iran has escalated it beyond. Its strategy is to attack not only US bases, but also threaten the countries which would allow those bases to be territories to be airspace to be used. Then again, it also has implicit threat that if its oil exports are not allowed, then it might as well block Strait of Hormuz, through which nearly a third of global maritime oil trade passes. So that would send oil prices rising. Once again, not a very wholesome prospect as Mr. Trump runs up to an election at home, where inflation is going to be one of the main sort of planks. So all that put together makes it, barring accidents, barring miscalculations, and a war, total war at that, unlikely. At the same time, Mr. Trump is quite prone to take symbolic military action before the other side has succumbed to some diplomatic sort of decline in its terms, and resiled from the previous hardline stance, and then claim credit for it.
Okay.
So one cannot rule out some kind of symbolic high-octane gesture by Mr. Trump, now that he has his Armada in place, just before Iran announces the agreement for renegotiating certain planks of bilateral standoff.
Ambassador Sachdev, thank you very much for joining us here on NewsX World. It's always a pleasure to talk to you on these issues. We now turn to Southeast Asia, and in a crackdown on telecom fraud, China